go back over on the last video. Even though my mother and my father separated when I was 3, and she did what she could. She was single until I was probably 8. She got remarried when I was 8. She worked, spent a lot of time working. And my stepfather worked 2 jobs. And my father, I would come see him on the weekend sometimes, but then I went to year-round school, so I would come see him. Even with all 3 of them being somewhat doing what they could for me, they bought me a lot of things to make up for the time they weren't actually able to spend time with me personally. They had to work. My dad was doing politics and preaching in certain areas. And my stepfather, he had his own children, and he spent a lot of time working 2 jobs. But I had everything I needed. I spent a lot of time alone. And I had friends in the neighborhood. As they got older, they left and they went on and started, they had their own families and stuff. But I had to learn how to get used to being alone and embrace the presence of the Lord and use the time to learn a skill, trade. I learned a skill and a trade, which was HVAC, and that stuck with me. So I learned how to, work on cars. I learned how to do HVAC. I was doing landscaping. My dad bought me a trailer, 2006, 2007, because I had a white Suburban. I had a trailer and I had a Craftsman lawnmower with the bags on it. So I was doing landscaping, then I was doing power washing and detailing on the weekends. And sometimes I would make more money just on the weekends than I did my regular job, just by detailing. Sometimes I would only detail 2 cars, too. Hand wash, soft water. I might do a buff and wax on the car. Now that would take time. I remember one time I buffed the truck that hadn't been washed in 13 years black. And it took me 2 days to wet sand and buff and polish that car back out, man. Because I went over there, washed it the first day, then dried it, then I put the compound on it and let it sit. I started removing the compound off of it. And it took me 2 days. It was a black truck too, man. So it faded, turned gray. I had to buff all that stuff back out. Then I started doing body work on certain cars, patch panels, fiberglass panels in cars. I was doing fiberglass door trimming, moldings, add extra subwoofers in the doors, on the trunk lid panel back there, dashboard, fiberglass dashboard. I was doing that years ago, and installing sound systems right from my mother's house. Like I said, I learned a skill that I could, I could continue to build off of. Doing the barbecue, pulled pork, that was something I was introduced. That's what I'm trying to get back into. I'm trying to get barbecue sauce on the market for my mother and her namesake. But I learned how to do multiple different things. I am a firm believer, and as the world changes, a person will never be a master of one. Learn how to be a jack of all trades, because no one will ever be a master of one, because the world is constantly changing and evolving. So things are always going to change, and a person always going to go and learn something different, even if they've learned how to do certain things and they cross all the T's and dotted all their I's. Well, guess what? Something's going to come along. Equipment, even in my case, doing air conditioning heat, equipment change. To change the wiring diagrams, we got to figure those out. Then you have to change certain units. Them Linux units, they wire different. The control board was what? On one of them, you wire to the unit, then you wire back to the air handler. So, there's certain systems that have their own way of doing things to reprogramming people. So you constantly learning. People haven't paid attention now. Time is moving by such a fast pace, and they're distracted for one. People have China, they done created a fake moon or something up there. They keep people working all the time, so they don't have enough time to be at home reproducing. They just so they can keep up with supply and demand over here in America. They keep the people busy all the time. Got to be ashamed of myself, man. But anyway, ain't gonna be making my videos ahead of time, because tomorrow Friday I might not do that. Give me something to eat though. Better go do that now. Y'all be blessed. Be encouraged. Get into your word. Future spirit, minister, future natural. Y'all be blessed.